Brothers and sisters, generals, we are back, alive and breathing. And I always say, if we are alive and breathing, we are back to conquer another day, another year, and another decade. And we keep on thriving. You know, we're not surviving, we're thriving. And it's a wonderful space and place to be. But of course, it takes a little bit of work and endurance in some parts of our lives, but I always bring down that great protection from that great divine for ourselves, from ourselves, so we don't become our own worst enemy. And that's for me, brothers and sisters, younger or older, family member. And this will be another edition of EBX discussion, but the first episode of how important reading is. And I'll call this a reading session because I said I want to start doing these. And salute to Lord Lamont for the last podcast we did. And I put a little disclaimer, don't get offended by things my son and I talk about. It's just perspectives and opinions, you know. So, but if you looking out onto the world and observe, you know, we can see and maybe get some answers for ourselves. But that's why it's good to read. And I'm going to start on the book. And the book is The Contender. And actually got it from a gift from my goddaughter, which I will speak on here in a minute. And like I said, I wanted to read, and I also wanted to speak on the benefits of reading and how it's good for our mind, body, and soul, and has a lot to do with what we see, hear, and feel, and what we are letting enter our psyche. Because when we're seeking to educate oneself, and not just books and school, I mean just exploring one's mind, you know, to broaden our horizon, to broaden our thinking, broaden our vocabulary, things to make us healthy, mind, body, and soul. And there's many ways and many tools, as many of us great, like-minded brothers and sisters know. You know, salute to those who are seeking to be aware of oneself and those who are. That's brother or sister, family in the world or online. Those who are on fire and standing firm, as generals do. Salute. And I want to give a salute and appreciation to current subscriber, new subscriber, anybody that view, anybody that has a well-righteous, formulated platform. You know, be thankful that we have a voice and we can speak, you know, and we're not taking it for granted. Because when you're in them right circles, we'll know who the real ones are, you know, through the mix of mistakes. Because, again, I will never come off like I'm a perfect brother. But, you know, we have limitations in life. You know, we have boundaries we have to set to keep oneself sane and centered. And that's brother, sister, younger or older, family, you know. So we are still human. That's what we need to remember. You know, don't get too lost in this digital shit. Real talk. But I wanted to continue. Again, this will be episode 1. And I don't know how many episodes it will be because it's 150 pages in this book. So maybe I'll get through it all. So this will be episode 1. And we enjoy the journey. Remember, brothers and sisters, family, we don't focus on the destination because there really isn't a destination anyway. So do what we can to add to humanity and or culture or in our circles or right where we are in our families. Like I say 1,000 times, we start with ourselves, our children, our family, work our way out. Like a righteous pebble in a pond. I use this analogy a lot. Because we see it work out in our lives and we're seeking right things in life and just focusing on being a righteous brother or sister or family. And what I always say, folks, then the deep spiritual enlightened things will come. But I'm going to get into this book. But first, I want to speak on its 9 points. Now, I'm not going to read the little paragraphs, but I'm just going to read off the 9 points of why it's the benefits and why it's good to read, you know, and it's wonderful. Again, it broadens our vocabulary. It brings new ideas into our psyche, you know, and them great divine downloads. Then we lock on to Mother Nature and get that wonderful, wonderful cosmic power from that universe. We have to think like that. We have to go outside, you know, righteously. This little rinky-dinky human body. We can be so much more powerful than the things we do every day, you know, but it starts, where does it start? In the mind. Because I always say, the body follows the mind. Where the mind goes, the body goes. So let's educate and be aware. Let's sharpen ourselves. All right. I want to read these 9 points just the phrases, but not the summaries, so to speak. So I'm gonna go through them pretty fast because I want to get to this book I got called The Contender. Will be the first book, and the second one will be, it's called Game, and it's by, I had to look at the name, but it's another book that I'm gonna read called Game. I'll get into that a little later. But the first book out the gate is The Contender, and it shows a brother standing in the corner. He's a boxer, of course, and it shows a brother standing in the corner, getting ready to box, and he's thinking things in his mind, and I'll get into that in the book. But let's read these points why it's beneficial to read, and it's good for our mind, body, and soul. All right. First point, improved memory. Second point, better sleep. Third point, reduce stress. Now remember, these have phrases beside it, but I'm not going to read them right now because it'd be too long. But maybe on a later date I will read it. All right. Remember, first point, improved memory. Second point, well, these are actually facts. Better sleep. Third point, reduce stress, which is very important. Improved focus. That's the fourth point. Fifth point, better vocabulary. As I said, broaden our mind and our vocabulary. Sixth point, increased empathy, which is needed, but not a soft empathy. A firm, strong empathy. All right. Seventh point, improved mental health, which is the center of everything. Real talk. Where the mind goes, the body goes. All right. Eighth point, prevents cognitive decline, which is very important. I'm going to read that one because, I'm not going to act like some words I come across, I hear them, but not really know the real meaning. So I'm going to read that one. Prevents cognitive decline, because that's a word I don't use in my vocabulary. So that's what I'm saying. Reading is good. Broaden our vocabulary, and don't think we're dumb. We don't know everything. It's okay not to know something. We got to get out of that. That's that self-esteem ego shit. Real talk. Some things we don't know. That's why we dig deep. All right. Let's read. I want to read that summary. Regular reading can help prevent cognitive decline as we age. Man, wonderful. So I'm going to go deeper into that cognitive decline because I kind of know what that means, but don't really know what that means. One day I'll go deeper into that, but that's important. Look that up too. Cognitive. See what that means. Longer life. Last but not least. That's the ninth point. Longer life. Reading may contribute to a longer life. Wonderful. So it's many things that tie in to reading, so, and salute to all those who do read. It's wonderful because we all in this. I actually heard a great brother say on another content. I listen to many content creators, brothers or sisters, the real ones out there. Salute to those who holding it down, the generals, real talk, because it's needed. But, I come across some great speakers sometimes, and some young brothers and sisters and older. But a brother was saying, as I always say, there's only one great divine force. We're all seeking that same enlightenment, and we're all, attaching to that same positive power. There is only one divine force. I don't care how many names you try to put on it. And that's what this brother was explaining that I came across, which was very enlightening and very educated. So salute to that brother. It was another content creator. There's so many out here. But again, you're in them righteous circles, we'll know who the real ones are. Real talk. So it's no different. It's not no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different kinds of God. Real God now. I'm talking about the one that keep us from compromising ourselves and committing evil acts. Now we talking about that God. One that keeps us on a straight and narrow. That great, great divine force that locks us in to Mother Nature. Because we can learn so much from Mother Nature. Real talk. And or the universe. All right. So I want to get to this book. And again, like I said, this will be episode 1 of reading sessions. And I'll be doing this too with my son, Lord Lamont, because he's read a lot of books. And, he has books that he's given me, and my goddaughter, I'll speak on here in a minute, has given me a book. So I'll be doing some reading sessions with him. But today, it just be EBXCARES, my brothers and sisters. All right. So we're going to get to this book called The Contender. And I'm just going to read a couple pages. And, as I do, I'll have side notes and my own little, things I'll say on the side and little information I'll give. But we're going to start off. The Contender. It's a brother that's a boxer. And it's by Robert Lipsyte. And he has many books, that he has written, So And it looks interesting, and it's from my goddaughter Skylar, and it says to Eric from Skylar. That's my name if those don't know. But yeah, so salute to my goddaughters and my godsons. My godchildren, my biological children. So salute. And they're doing well, and I know they're gonna be all right because they're well protected, as well as those in one's family, So don't ever think I don't care. I don't talk much. Again, you might not see me much, but as I say, EBS cares all day, every day. But you got to remember, folks, as we all are, I'm only human, but we strive and we study human nature for we not only others' behaviors, but especially ourselves. So that's what's most important. Righteous ripple effect. All right, we're gonna get to this book called The Contender, and like I said, it shows a brother standing in the corner who is a boxer. And Robert Lipsyte also have other books. One called The Brave, The Chief, Warrior Angel, and One Fat Summer. That's the name of some books he has. And it looked like he has some pretty interesting books. And it looked like it's based on reality. And it's called The Contender, brothers and sisters. And it says, as I flip onto the first page, it says, for my mother and father. So I'm gonna take it that this was a real life event that this person, Robert Lipsyte, and I don't know what nationality he is, I just know his name. And we're gonna start off with the first page. And the first topic of it, it says forward. That's what it says. All right, we're gonna start off The Contender. And this will be episode 1 of our reading session. Let's go. The first page of The Contender. The moment the contender was born remains as vivid now as it was that chilly night in Las Vegas, Nevada, November 20th, 1965. I was sitting in the dark outside a casino hotel near a distorted swimming pool with an old boxing manager. I had taken a dinner. I had taken to dinner, excuse me. Okay, I'm gonna read that part over again. Excuse me, y'all. I was sitting in the dark outside a casino hotel near a deserted swimming pool with an old boxing manager I had taken to dinner. He was very old. I thought then. In introspect, I realized he was younger than I am now. Once he had trained champions, now he was washed up. He had come to Vegas to see the Muhammad Ali Floyd Patterson fight, which I was covering for the New York Times, and to look for a job. No one wanted him. He walked about his glory days when he was covering for the New York Times and to look for a job. No one wanted him. He talked about his glory days when he owned a gym in a tough neighborhood in lower Manhattan. He slept in the gym with a big dog and a gun by his side late at night. He told me he would listen for footsteps coming up through dark, narrow, twisting flights of stairs. He was waiting for a kid to climb those steps alone at night and fighting his fear of the unknown because he was so driven by the depression of his life on the streets below. Many of us can relate to this. A kid like that, he said, using his fear as fuel, willing to risk the dangers of those dark stairs to learn how to box. Had a chance to become somebody and a chance to become a contender, which is what this book is about. A boxing writer. I knew that a contender was a challenger for the championship. Someone on the way up, someone with promise. Becoming the champion is often a matter of luck, but being a contender is about your own hard work. Dedication, and talent. The image of those stairs stayed with me through the Ali Patterson fight and all the way home to New York. I was inflamed with questions. What kind of kid would dare to come up those steps. Mm. What would be going on in his life? What would he find at the top? I also wondered what I needed to do to become a contender. What were my narrow, twisting stairs? I had published some short stories and written a nonfiction book, the autobiography of comedian activist Dick Gregory. But I had never written a novel. Would the chapters be my steps of to becoming a contender? Amazingly, when I got back to New York, to New York Times newsroom, there was a letter waiting from an editor at Harper and Row Publishers. Excuse me if I can read some of these words. Ferdinand Monjo, I think that's somebody's name. Ferdinand. Monjo, Monjo, who wondered if I had ever thought of writing a book with boxing as its Milieu. I don't know what, I can't pronounce that. Milu? Okay. Read that one more time. I had ever thought. Okay. Here we go. Writing from an editor at Harper and Row Publishers, Ferdinand Monjo, Ferdinand Monjo. That them two words, they hard to pronounce. All right. Who wondered if I had ever thought. This is a person he's talking about. I just can't pronounce his name right. It's some weird pronouncing. Okay. Had ever thought of writing a book with boxing as its Milieu, Milieu. I can't pronounce that, y'all. Forgive me. I'm still not sure I can pronounce it properly. See, just like I did. Real talk. But this is what he's saying in his book. He couldn't even pronounce that word I just spelled. I love that word. It means background or setting. Wow. I'm going to have to look that up. I'm going to have to check that out, see how you pronounce that word. It's Milieu. Even he said he couldn't even pronounce it in his book. But I love that word. It means background. That's what that word means I just spelled. It means background or setting. I called Mr. Monjo, which is a person's name. I think it's Monjo. I called Monjo up. Yes, I'll do it. I babbled. The book I babbled. Yes, I'll do it. I babbled. The book will have 3 flights of stairs. A kid hero. I'll call it The Contender. Mr. Monjo said, go right ahead, dear boy. And in my experience, I guess this dude, Robert Lipsyte, when he wrote this book, he was young, which is wonderful. And in my experience, I thought that was a contract. I wrote the book, and with his help and the help of the great Harper editors, let me see, Ursula Nordstrom, Strom, Ursula Nordstrom, and Charlotte. Some of these I can't pronounce, y'all. Forgive me. And Charlotte Zolotow, Zolotow. It was published. Yes. It was successful and won awards. Wow, that's wonderful. It was an early example of young adult literature. A genre, Genre. A genre Ursula had helped create. Yes. I might not have said that right, y'all. Forgive me. When the book came out, I brought a copy to the old boxing manager who had inspired it. He was the model for Mr. Donatelli. This is another name. Donatelli. Sound Italian. Mr. Donatelli. Donatelli. An old boxing manager in the novel. His name was Custa D'Amato. Wow, these are some unique names. Custa D'Amato. He was living at a friend's house in upstate New York, still unemployed, rocking his life away on the front porch. He said he liked the book, but I could tell he was very unhappy. Years passed. He stayed in touch. One day, a car rolled up. Cuss, he using his name in short. Cusses, because his name is Cuss Del Monto. Okay, it's C-U-S, then he had apostrophe S. Okay, Cuss is not cussing like cursing. That's just how his name is. C-U-S apostrophe S. Cuss's driveway, and out popped a former boxer who had trained with Cuss. Now, his former boxer worked at a nearby juvenile correctional facility, and he had a problem. There was a kid in the reform school, 13 years old, 200 pounds. Whoa. None of it fat. Whoa. Wow. That's 200 pounds, no fat. Wow. Can you imagine that at 13 years old? Holy crap. Who had beaten up every other kid in the faculty and had started working on the guards. Holy crap. Whoa. This kid was a force to be reckoned with. Y'all hear that? 13 years old, 200 pounds, solid. Holy shit. See, that's why it's cool to read. And when you read, you get the image in your mind. That's where that creative comes in, and you be able to you have a good imagination. That's another thing about reading. It creates a righteous imagination now, a good imagination. All right, I'm gonna read a little more, but that's wow, that's interesting. 13 years old, 200 pounds. Holy crap, man. All right. He had beaten up every other kid in the faculty. Remember, he was in a juvenile correctional facility, and he was working on the guards. Could Cuss meet him? Cuss, what the old manager? His name Cuss. It's a real name. Cuss Del Monto. That's his name. He wanted to meet him, talk to him, maybe even train him. Try to channel all that fury into discipline of boxing. So I'm gonna stop right there, and we'll start back off right there at the next session because it's kind of long. I just wanted to read a little of it, and it got a lot of major boxers' names in here. It got Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. I'm gonna read the next because Mike Tyson's coming up. All right, here we go. I'm gonna read that little part about Mike Tyson, then I'm gonna stop it there. Okay, here we go. He tried to channel all that fury into discipline of boxing. At first, Cuz said no, but his old student was persistent, and he finally agreed to meet the kid, but no promises. The kid's name was Mike Tyson. Are you kidding me? And back then, I thought he was sensitive and smart. More important, Mike and Cus really hit it off. Really hit it off. Excuse me, y'all. Pun intended. Really hit it off. Pun intended. I think that's what it says. Pun intended. Cus, that's his name. Cus, C-U-S. Cus taught him, not cuss like cussing, y'all. That's his name. Cus taught him to fight and eventually legally adopted him. Mike trained to become a contender and then heavyweight champion, the youngest in history at 20 years old. But his story took a terrible turn. Just before Mike won the title, Cus died. Wow. And without him, Mike spun out of control, which we all pretty much know Mike Tyson's story. All right, I'm gonna stop right there, and that's another guy. It was another boxer besides Mike Tyson. So it was some titans back then. It wasn't just Mike. It was a lot of contenders and competitors that were just as solid and tough as Mike. We're gonna get into it though. So I'm gonna stop right there, and we'll start out and see that would be page. We made it to, let me see, that's 1, 2, 3. We made it to page 3. We'll start off on page 3 next time of our book session, and this is episode 1. And I just wanted to read a little bit of the book Contender by Robert Lipsyte, and he sounded like a brother. You know, it might be a Caucasian dude. We're just talking about the book Arthur, and he looked like he writes some good books. And I'll do a little research, and I'm just curious. I just want to know if it was a brother or Caucasian. Not that it really matters. I just wonder who wrote, who the person is that wrote the book. But the book looks very interesting. And as you see, I fumble words and don't know how to pronounce words. It's okay. That's why we read. That's why we learn. That's why we seek. So we can get better. This is how we broaden our vocabulary. We can't think we're being dumb. We ask questions. We work on the so-called weaknesses and areas and kinks and quirks, and we work on those areas, and we get better, and we become sharper and be the generals that we have been and that we are. So that was just a few pages I wanted to read and speak on the benefits of reading and how it, again, it's healthy, it's good, and you come across many words. That's another thing. That's what me and my son and I, Lord Lamont, was discussing and talked about, different words we come across, and we look them up in a dictionary, and when we're seeking things, how it can lead to something else, and man, things we just not aware of and didn't know. That's how we find out new things within ourselves, in the world, whether it's from our families, our children, like me volunteering in my son's school. When we get involved, you just be amazed what that great divine has for us down the road, for real. Because that great divine knows us better than we know ourselves. All day, every day. I don't care how powerful we think we is. No one knows us or nothing. No person, place, or thing knows a brother or a sister, family, younger or older, better than that great divine, Mother Nature, and or universe. So keep reading, brothers and sisters, and keep doing things to broaden our mind and broaden our mind, body, and soul, so we can be sharp and be aware of what we see, hear, and feel, and filter out that psyche and keep on moving, keep on grooving. Real talk. So salute to those who came in to another edition of EBX Discussion, and this will be episode 1 of the Contender, and I'll continue reading. And those who are seeking to do right, stay with it. If you're in the beginning staging, the beginning stages of awareness, whether you're in the middle or you're already there, stay with it. I will always bring words of encouragement, because there are those who encourage me. Real talk. Again, I'm only human, folks, but we're striving to be superhuman. Anybody, as I always say, can have a divine ability and or quality. It's just a matter of investing in it, and it's okay if we don't know something, That's when we are at our highest peak of awareness. When we somewhat humble, not soft humble now, but just humble enough to know sometimes we're not going to know things. Ask questions. We improve in that area and get stronger. And we pass it on to our youth and continue, this walk. And don't forget, brothers and sisters, current subscriber, new subscriber, anybody that view, enjoy the freaking journey. Stay in the right space. So, because we do what we do righteous in the present, what will always and forever benefit us in the future. So again, thank those for coming in to another reading session of the Contender, and salute to my goddaughter that gave me this book, which name is Skylar, and she's doing very well as her other sisters and her brothers. They're gonna be all right. I'm telling you. I just so heartily know in my soul, that great divine protects those who are seeking righteous in their heart. Righteous always come to those who set out to do right. Real talk. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So that was just some encouraging words, and I wanted to put in one soul and keep on reading, brothers and sisters. And as you can see on my banner, in our lives, in our mind, body, and soul, always and forever, go above and beyond. Salute.